In linguistics, logic, philosophy, and other fields, an intension is any property or quality connoted by a word, phrase, or another symbol. In the case of a word, the word's definition often implies an intention. For instance, intension of the word plant includes properties like being composed of cellulose, and alive, and organism, among others. Comprehension is the collection of all such intentions. The meaning of a word can be thought of as the bond between the idea the word means and the physical form of the word. Swiss linguist Ferdinand de Saussure contrasts three concepts: the signifier the sound image, or the string of letters on a page that one recognizes as the form of a sign, the signified the meaning, the concept or idea that a sign expresses or evokes, the referent the actual thing or set of things a sign refers to. See dyadic signs and reference. Without intention of some sort, a word has no meaning. For instance, the terms rantins or brillic have no intention and hence no meaning. Such terms may be suggestive, but a term can be suggestive without being meaningful. For instance, rantan is an archaic onomatopoeia for chaotic noise or din and may suggest to English speakers a din or meaningless noise. And brillic, though made up by Lewis Carroll, may be suggestive of brilliant or frigid. Such terms, it may be argued, are always intentional since they connote the property meaningless term, but this paradox does not constitute a counterexample to the claim that without intention a word has no meaning. Intension is analogous to the signified in the Saussurean system, extension to the referent. In philosophical arguments about dualism versus monism, it is noted that thoughts have intentionality and physical objects do not, but rather have extension in space and time. Note: intention and intentionality should not be confused with intention and intentionality, which are pronounced the same and occasionally arise in the same philosophical context. Where this happens, the letter S or T is sometimes italicized to emphasize the distinction. Intentional statement: an intentional statement form is a statement form with at least one instance such that substituting coextensive expressions into it does not always preserve logical value. An intentional statement is a statement that is an instance of an intentional statement form. Here coextensive expressions are expressions with the same extension. That is, a statement form is intentional if it has, as one of its instances, a statement for which there are two coextensive expressions such that one of them occurs in the statement, and if the other one is put in its place, the result is a statement with a different logical value. An intentional statement, then, is an instance of such a form. It has the same form as a statement in which substitution of coextensive terms fails to preserve logical value. A non-intentional statement is also known as an extensional statement, since substitution of coextensive expressions into it always preserves logical value. A language is intentional if it contains intentional statements, and extensional otherwise. English, in common with every other natural language, is an intentional language. The only extensional languages are artificially constructed languages used in mathematics or for other special purposes and small fragments of natural languages. Examples of extensional statements Mark Twain wrote Huckleberry Finn. Aristotle had a sister. Note that if Samuel Clemens is put into in place of Mark Twain, the result is as true as the original statement. It should be clear that no matter what is put for Mark Twain, so long as it is a singular term picking out the same man, the statement remains true. Likewise, we can put in place of the predicate any other predicate belonging to Mark Twain and only to Mark Twain, without changing the logical value. 4. Likewise, consider the following substitutions: Aristotle, the tutor of Alexander the Great. Aristotle, the author of the Prior Analytics. Had a sister, had a sibling with two X chromosomes. Had a sister, had a parent who had a non-male child. Examples of intentional statements everyone who has read Huckleberry Finn knows that Mark Twain wrote it. It is possible that Aristotle did not tutor Alexander the Great. Aristotle was pleased that he had a sister. To see that these are intentional, make the following substitutions: Mark Twain, the author of Cornpone Opinions. Aristotle, the tutor of Alexander the Great. can be seen to be intentional given had a sister or had a sibling with two X chromosomes. It will be noted that the intentional statements above feature expressions like knows, possible, and pleased. Such expressions always, or nearly always, produce intentional statements when added to an extensional statement, and thus they are sometimes called intentional operators. A large class of intentional statements, but by no means all, can be spotted from the fact that they contain intentional operators. Significance equals, intentional languages cannot be given an adequate semantics in terms of the extensions of expressions in them, since the extensions themselves do not suffice to determine a logical value. On the other hand, for the first half of the 20th century the only known systems of formal semantics worked by assigning extensions to expressions and used a Tarski-style truth definition of statements constructed from the primitive expressions of the language under analysis. Hence, these semantical methods were pathetically inadequate for understanding the semantics of any but a few small artificial languages or mutilated fragments of natural languages. This situation changed in the 1960s with the invention of possible world or intentional semantics, the main form of which is due to Saul Kripke. Though this has enabled improvements in the semantic modeling of natural languages, much work remains to be done. See also, description logic, intentional definition, intentional logic. References: Ferdinand de Saussure, Course in General Linguistics. Open Court Classics, July 1986. ISBN 0-8126-9023-0. S. E. Palmer, Vision Science, From Photons to Phenomenology, 1999. MIT Press, ISBN 0-2621-6183-4. External links: Chalmers, David, On Sense and Intention. Rappaport, William J., Intentionality v. Intentionality.